Ending our reviews of the Apocalypse trilogy is In the Mouth of Madness. In 1995, this is what many diehard fans of Carpenter consider the last truly great film of his, mainly because it had the heart and style of his work, as well as excellent writing, performances, effects, and story. His later films aren't god-awful or anything, but they lacked a certain spark that made his previous works more enticing and interesting. This film went through some development hell in the late 80s and early 90s, with John Carpenter at first passing on the film. It then went to Tony Randall, director of Hellraiser 2 and Ticks. It then went to Mary Lambert, director of Pet Sematary. Then in 1992, Carpenter was then interested and took the project. It was pretty much a love letter and homage to H.P. Lovecraft. While not a direct adaptation of anything, many Lovecraft fans consider it to be one of the best Lovecraft films. Similar to Prince of Darkness, it doesn't spoon-feed you information, and after viewing the film, it might make you seem confused or disoriented. This is because the film keeps going between reality and fiction and makes you question what's real and what isn't. However, on repeat viewings, it starts to make sense. So, the film is about an insurance fraud investigator named John Trent, who is sent to look for popular mainstream horror author Sutter Kane after he goes missing. He then finds out the impact Sutter Kane has on readers and reality itself. It's hard to talk about this film because even letting you guys know one thing might spoil something else, so I apologize that I can't go into specific details. But I will say the reality-bending themes and tones are really interesting, and the plot slowly unraveling for Trent is really enticing. However, unlike its predecessors, it isn't exactly scary, as it's more a supernatural mystery thriller than a science fiction horror film like The Thing and Prince of Darkness. However, it does have some very creepy imagery, interesting lore, and an intriguing plotline. Plus, Sam Neill is absolutely amazing as John Trent. You could tell he gave it his all, and it pays off. While Neill doesn't do a ton of it, he thrives in horror, like this, Event Horizon, and even the darker scenes and imagery of Jurassic Park. I would recommend watching this film 2 or 3 times to fully appreciate it, because it is definitely one of those love it or hate it movies. However, it was the most well received out of the trilogy due to it getting mixed reviews rather than overwhelmingly negative like its predecessors. If you love Lovecraft, you will love this film. Despite the fact that I do recommend you see it multiple times, I watched it once and I relatively got it. As long as you're paying attention, you should get it. When it comes to Lovecraft, the adaptations when it comes to his work aren't all that spectacular, as I have mentioned in other videos. Most of them are not that great outside of Reanimator, which almost doesn't even really count because that barely qualifies as Lovecraftian, despite being written by him. With this, In the Mouth of Madness more so takes the ideas and concepts of his work and applies them here. I think that would overall make more sense than try to adapt his work, as that would be near impossible to do so. That is one of the many benefits of the film rather than trying to straight up adapt his work. Carpenter also goes further into a purposefully disjointed structure here and relying on dreams after Prince of Darkness did this a bit. This is mainly questioning reality and bleeding fiction into reality and vice versa, as well as the ideas of insanity and sanity. As I did mention, Neill does do a terrific job, and you really sympathize with him as the main character. And his devolvement is really well showcased. As I said in the last video, I do prefer this to Prince of Darkness, but both are fantastic films. And now I'm kinda teetering between the two now that I've rewatched them recently. I think Prince of Darkness might be closer to In the Mouth of Madness than I originally thought. But with this, I do highly recommend both. Yes, The Thing trumps them both, however, both are still seriously amazing films that I think you should watch whether you are or are not a big Carpenter fan.